Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be a reorganization of my NATASCHA DENONA eyeshadow palettes. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. In case you didn't know, I like playing around with color stories and rearranging my eyeshadow palettes if they allow me to. And I have a bunch of the midi size NATASCHA DENONA eyeshadow palettes, and I have been telling for such a long time how I love the NATASCHA DENONA eyeshadow formula, but how the color stories aren't always grabbing me. So I figured that of the 4 palettes I have, I can select a couple of shades I really love and create some new color stories to hopefully entice me to reach for them a little bit more often. Because as much as I love the quality, like some of these are my top favorite eyeshadow palettes within their given categories. I love the formula, but they're not always quite right for me, and I'm missing shades, or there are a lot of duplicate shades, or they're just things that aren't always right. So I'm going to take you down to the floor, and then we're going to be rearranging some eyeshadow palettes. But before we get to it, it may be good to know that I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, and that greatly skews my makeup preferences. I've also been doing this for quite some time, so I have a lot of opinions about things because I've been trying makeup for more than a decade. And last but not least, it may be good to know that I focus mainly on eyeshadow palettes, Essence and Catrice, and getting the use out of your makeup. So if you're here for that, definitely click subscribe down below and join the Snow Angel family. Right, so we're down on the floor. These are the 4 palettes I have. I have the Retro Glam, the Retro, and the My Dream. And these are all removable pans where you have this little thing that you can stick a pin into, and then you can take the shades out and you can rearrange them. Now my Retro palette actually broke and because I dropped it, which was unfortunate. So this is already not in the order it's supposed to be in. So we have that. So let me open these up so we can chat about them and reorganize them. So these are the 4 color stories that we've got going on. And I definitely think that I'm not entirely sure yet how many shades I'm going to take out of this one. At first I thought I wasn't going to rearrange it, but then I used it again this month. And I was like, yeah, I think I can put it in with some of these shades as well. This just turned out a lot more red toned than I thought. I actually put it up against some of my other rosy tone palettes, and I found it's just not that rosy. It's more cranberry, actually. This is a lot more warm tone than I would normally go for, but it's got a couple of good shades. And then the Glam has been my favorite cool tone palette. It's very similar to the Naked 2, which is my other favorite cool tone palette, you could say. And but this has a lot of shades that are just really similar. And I actually think that something like this, and like some of the things that are also going on in here and here and here, may just be incredibly similar to one another. So I'm gonna have to do some swatches as well, but first we're gonna take all of the shades out. I think I'm gonna do like all the mattes and all the shimmers, and then I'm gonna have to select a palette to put them into. So I've laid all of the mattes are like here, and then all of the shimmers are here. My camera battery cut out. So you can see that between these 4 palettes, there's quite an equal split between mattes and shimmers. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I love my cool tones. So I think I want to do some cool tones with a pop of green and something that's perhaps a little bit more rosy, warm toned. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know if you can tell from just looking at it like this, but there are a lot of shades that are very similar, save for a bit of nuance. Like these, no, this is the multi-chrome that I do perhaps want to keep, but like something like this, like these rosy shades here, these like grayish taupey things are quite identical. And especially within the mattes, like this, something like this, like they're all identical. So I definitely don't need to keep everything, I think. I'm not going to declutter anything by Natascha Denona. I'm not going to throw anything away. But the Superfluous shades are just going to go into the 2 palettes I'm not creating. And then I can always go back and keep things as they are. So let me sort of select the shades that I know I definitely want to keep. Put them on this side and then make like a discard pile over here. So we can then rearrange those color stories. Okay, so I've selected 28 shades that I'd like to keep, and then I just have some things here. So I can select 2 more shades that I'd like to keep. So I think maybe this very light one. Maybe this. That's perhaps a bit peachy. Maybe something like this. This is the gold from the My Dream, which is one of the best shades from any of the palettes, but I'm not a huge fan of golds. So maybe that rose gold one then, or maybe this. I think this is from the Retro Glam. So that may be like my gold inner corner option. I think we're pretty much there. So 30 shades, so that means that these are the 2 palettes I'd like to keep, and then all of this, which is the very warm tone stuff, I can, you know, discard. However, I do think that like a shade like this is super unique. Yeah, so maybe I am going to reorganize this into a color story as well, but shall we do that first? Because this is the fun bit. This is definitely what I would like to keep. I thought I was gonna keep more than what I would want to discard, but something that I do notice now that I've put them all out here, I do appreciate that these, between the 4 palettes, are the only true light cream and the only true black from all of these, which is something that I've noticed a lot from doing this. A lot of brands do a lot of these like light, creamy, transition-y shades and a lot of black. And that's not going on here, but there is just an overflow of mid-tones. Everything is very mid. Nothing is super light and nothing is super dark. So there's not a lot of contrast in these palettes. So maybe it's not the choice of the colors that I'm not a fan of. Maybe it's more so the fact that there's a lot of, like, just everything has the same level of depth. Maybe that's why I'm not a huge fan of these. Oh well. Let me see if I can turn this into like something that's a bit more like gold and orange. So more these things, and then something that's a bit more rosy, warm toned. I think that may be fun. That's a bronze. Like these 2 are identical. These are just exactly the same. But then I'm left with far fewer shimmers. That can go there, there, there. That can go there. And then this true peachy thing can go there. This is a bit more pink toned. That as well. Yeah, it's a bit of a pinky tone. This is a bit green leaning. That may be one for there though. That's an option. And then this can go here, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, I think I'll pop that one in there as well. So I think I want to do the black at the bottom. I'm going like mostly matte for this one on the bottom row. Maybe this one. And then we have 5 shimmers, so we'll pop the 5 shimmers in the middle. Don't know yet about that row, but I do think that can be nice. And then this needs to go the other way around. I think that's a color story. I think I'm going to pop that into the retro glam because I think that's more of a retro glam vibe for me. Am I right about that? Yeah, and then the My Dream, I'm going to make the warm toned one, and then I'm going to put the other shades into the glam and into the retro glam. So there we have my reorganized retro palette. I like the look of that. I really do. I really, really do. That looks pretty. And then for this more warm toned one, this. So that one definitely doesn't have a lot of depth. We have this, 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 and this. Yeah. But this does have more shimmers. Huh. It's got more shimmers. Yeah, very similar shimmers. So this is a bit more peachy, and this is a bit more like taupey gold. But I think I want to put this one in the middle, because that's going to be center stage. And I like this perhaps to be like an inner corner highlight kind of thing. Pop this here, that there, this there, here. That is, yeah, it's quite peachy, this one. Ooh, I know what I want to do. I think that's the warm toned color story. I think this is the My Dream, yes. So let me pop it in there. As you notice, I'm not really swatching anything, but that's because I've swatched so many of these shades so many times that I kind of know what they do. So that's why I'm not continuously swatching everything to, you know, compare shades, because I don't really need to. Because I tend to know my palettes quite well because I've used them so many times. So there we have the My Dream, which I don't know why, but it looks a lot more appealing to me right now. I think that reorganizing these is exactly what I had to do. This is the best decision ever, I can tell. So I think I want to do something with these purples and like plummy rosy things. But I also think I don't have enough of them to create like a full color story. Ooh, I think this may be nice with that. This is a bit of, ooh. This is a bit of a rosy tone. Maybe this one as well. And this is, of course, that multi-chrome, which also has the pink to green shift. So it could actually go in both. Maybe this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I need 2 more. I'm going to take one of these shades out, actually. I'm going to make a slight change. Because I think that this pinky shade is actually better in here. Pop that in here. I think I like that. And this can go with that really well. Or maybe not. Maybe I need to take another shade out. Because I think this one will go better with these ones. This is a bit too warm. So I've popped that shade out, and this is a shade that I'm gonna pop in here, I think. I think that will work. This is a bit more taupe leaning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I still need 2 that need to go in here. Maybe this one or this one. I need to swatch those side by side because those are pretty similar. So I don't want to put them in the same palette for sure. Ooh, that's got a nice like bit of a plum undertone. That's the lighter one of the two. This is like a deeper version of it. I think that's more neutral. This has a bit more shine to it. So maybe put that one here, this one here. Let's see how this one compares. This is, I think, a little bit more of a warmer taupe. Yes. I think that's the one from the Retro Glam, actually, which I think I want to keep with the greens. That will be a nice combo. So then we have 14 shades. So that means one of these needs to go there. That could work. That could work in here. So now I need to arrange both of these color stories to make sure I am happy with what we've got going on. So I definitely want to do something with that. Maybe put this in the bottom row there, like so. I have this really sparkly number right there. This is one of my favorite transition shades from the Retro. Ooh, we've got a lot of shimmer in here. This is a bit more matte. This one here, or maybe this one in the middle. Are those two similar? Wait, these three? I'm not sure about. Hold on. They are different, so this is a bit more golden toned. Oh, that's definitely more pink. This is a much more pink toned one, so that goes really perfectly. And then this one is just a little bit more peachy, and the other one is a bit more gold. So maybe then like this. I think that could work. I think that can work. And then for the other one, we start with that in the middle. Have it like this. Like so. Oh, and then we can do a row of green. Or is that 6 shades? That's 6 shades, but that's a very light shade. So we can do it like this. I like that. It's like, you know, the Retro Glam, but without the pinks, and then the pinks are actually in here, and some of them are actually also, I think, in my new Retro palette. I think this is actually from the Retro Glam, that pink in the middle. Ooh, I like this. Yeah, I quite like the look of that. Okay, so I think this is going to go into the Glam, and then this is going to go into the Retro Glam. Does that make sense? No, this needs to go into the Retro Glam, and this needs to go into the Glam. So here's the Glam. So let me swatch these out for you, but I'm not just going to swatch these out. I'll also pop on the screen first of what the palette looked like before I rearrange it, so we can see if there's actually any differences. Of course, I've played around with the same shades in these palettes, so I don't think the differences are going to be drastic, but I think it's going to be fun. So let me just have a swatch. Let me start here at the top. There we have the My Dream revamped. I cannot fit all of it in frame, it seems. Very, kind of. So it's all the warm tones plus a couple of the pinky shades and some of the more sparkly things, which I think is actually quite pretty. I think this kind of comes together a bit better for me now. Now we'll take the Retro. Ooh, I like this. This has really come together quite nicely. It's got a little bit more of a warmer rosy tone palette now to it, but I like this. This is a good one. Now the main one. I'm really hoping that I'm going to like the look of this one. Yeah, that first row immediately grabs me. Love the look of that. Okay, I hope I can get it all in frame, but that to me looks quite nice. I do feel that some of these like later ones are perhaps a bit more warm toned than I would want them to be, but that's what we've got going on in these palettes, and I think this works together a little bit better for me. I see maybe one thing that I can skip, that I can swap for this one. And then here we have the more rosy toned one. And I think I actually saw a shade over here that I think I want to swap for this one. But I just need to give that a nice little swatch. So something like this or this, I think is going to go better in here than this. Because this was a bit warm toned. That matte. Or maybe even this shade. Shall I do that? Like swap a matte for a matte. Put this one in there. Or maybe this. I think this is perhaps a bit too gray toned for it to be in here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swap this and this. Okay, I think that may be a bit better for me. I don't know. I quite like this. I like the layout of these. So I think what I'm just going to have to do is have a play with these at some point. Put them in a Palettes Revisited video and give them another shot now that I've rearranged them. I definitely like the look of these color stories a lot better than what they used to be. So again, here is what the My Dream currently looks like. This is my revamped Retro Glam. This is what the Retro looks like. And this is what the Glam looks like. So those are my revamped NATASCHA DENONA eyeshadow palettes. I really hope you enjoyed watching today's video. Please thumbs it up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more by me. I come on here 4 times a week to show you everything makeup-y related that I've got going on. So like, stay tuned for more, and then hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye!